the air as Valentine's Day in the year of 2026 is upon us. But if you're looking for love, you're not going to find it here. It's one of the most storied rivalries in high school hockey in the state of Illinois. New Trier and Loyola, just minutes apart from high schools. You even see Charlie Cannon just skate through the zone of Loyola. He took a slash from a Rambler. It is just a statement to how great of a series and rivalry this will be. Hello everybody and welcome into the Trevian Hockey Network. This is Luke Jordan speaking, Gerard Boris, our producer. A look there at your Bratzi Plumbing goal cams that you'll be seeing from both sides. Charlie Trapp on the left end. Max Reed will be starting in the other end, but let's talk about this series itself. The fifth meeting of the year between these two. 3 in the regular season. They also crossed paths in the O'Grady Cup Championship, with New Trier winning that one 4-0. In the 4 total appearances, New Trier won the first 3, but Loyola got their get back in the most recent one. A 7-4 smacking back at American Heartland Ice Arena on an SHL Game of the Week near the end of the regular season. I was there for that one. It was physical. Expect nothing different here. As Loyola students, New Trier students still filing their way in. It's quite late. 9 p.m. puck drop, it will seem, just a bit later than that. Sam Schwartz just gave the starting lineups. Upon those starting lineups, we have the starting goalies. On the right side, the New Trier end. He will slowly be making his way into the crease momentarily. Max Reed gets the go, and he was the netminder who allowed 6 of those 7 goals against Loyola in the most recent meeting. While on the other end, Loyola going with Charlie Trapp. Why wouldn't you? Arguably the state's best goalie. Some would even say he's robbed of SHL Goalie of the Year. Of course, Logan Marsh, deserving of it, but was Trapp more deserving, and he will have a statement to put on show here. A great series against the Glenbrook South Titans in the opening round. A .947 save percentage, 1.68 goals allowed average, as Loyola would go on to beat the Titans of Glenbrook South in 3 games. New Trier had to escape in 3 games as well. They lost game 1 to St. Ignatius and proceeded to win back the next 2. Loyola did the same thing, so both these teams were behind the 8 ball and still escaped out of the first round, and one of these teams will have the advantage after one game, with game 2 being tomorrow at a scheduled 7:30 start. It might be a little bit later than that from what we've learned today. As New Trier already piled around 4th-year head coach Adam Cheris. And on the other end, Scott Sorallo, 5th season head coach of the Ramblers, will bring his guys in, looking for back-to-back wins against New Trier and to open up the SHL semifinals with a bang. Here comes Max Reed to his crease. 26 in the black uniforms today for New Trier. 2-1-0 in that playoff series, and he was simply not the problem in round 1. He has a goals allowed average of .68 and a .969 save percentage, blanking the Ignatius Wolfpack in games 2 and 3. This New Trier team has started to gain some fire in a regular season ending skid for them, but it's a new time. It's playoff time. And we are so glad you are with us. Gerard Boris, our producer. My name is Luke Jordan. St. Viator beating York in game 1 of round 2, just before this one. This is also game 1 of round 2 on the other side of the bracket. And you can see these two teams just staring each other down as they head to center ice. It's the type of rivalries you live and breathe here in the state of Illinois. And it is ready to get leveled up to a new peak. The SHL semifinals playoff action underway. Already a bit of a late shove there from Max Kading, and boy, the physicality will be present. New Trier sends it out of their own end. They're in black, moving right to left, with the green outlines on the numbers and text. Nolan Nagitz curls it back to the other side for Kai Oyang. That one down the length of the ice for icing. 24 seconds in, we have our first whistle. Loyola rocking the classic whites. They will be looking for 2 straight against the Trevs after losing the first 3 this year. And seeking their first win away from home against New Trier since January 23rd, 2025. A shootout thriller that was on Marquee Sports Network, where we saw a prime Charlie Trapp shootout performance as just a sophomore. He's a junior now, tending the crease. And so is this guy, Max Reed, who hangs on for the first shot he sees. Reed, coming from AAA, played for the Chicago Reapers. Had a record of 25-3-1 with that AAA program last year. And if he wants, he will likely be the starter to return next year as a senior. Another Chicago Reaper on the ice right now, Luke Joe Barry, could not win that face off the center, and sophomore for the Ramblers. This one goes all the way down to Ricing. Jenner Layden on the chase. Layden made his return to the lineup in Game 2 against St. Ignatius. They haven't lost without him back in the lineup. He disappeared after the 11th of January with an illness, and it took him close to a month to return. Just about 3 weeks. Here's Knight. Stutters and gives it ahead, where it's chipped in deep by Alex Rowan. Chris Gall got to watch his tail. Now Patrick Dine pulls it ahead. Dine, the leading playmaker on this Loyola team in the regular season. At center ice now, pushing ahead is Layden. Jenner Layden walks in, drags, tries to make a move. Now Rowan follows up, and that gets deflected off of a skate and out of play, nearly beaming somebody in the audience. Still just one shot on net so far, and it's from Loyola. Nobody hurt in the process. We'll go to the right of Trapp this time. New Trier, the top team in the SHL, that top seed the last 6 years until St. Viator took the throne this time. Sullivan puts it over the crossbar. Now Tommy Tingle. Boy, has Tingle been great for the Ramblers in these playoffs. He's got 3 points in 3 games. The first Rambler to jump straight up from the JV squad to the Varsity 1 team in 7 years for Loyola. Down at the goal line, a centering feed blocked off. Body contact in the corner. Solomon, well pressured. Solomon now flicks it to the slot, and Lividitis can't get a hold. Peter Lochnicki spun around, and a penalty coming. They're going to call Keegan Rowan for what seemed to be interference. And it is. Let's get a look at it right here. First penalty from either side in this game. And no, that's on Jack Andrus. Pardon me, Rowan's the one debating the call. So the senior will sit for 2. And Loyola has really improved on this power play as of late. They're currently 3rd out of 10 teams in the SHL, 20.2%. They were only 6th as of late January. When they last met this New Trier team, they were 6th. They have really jumped it up to 18 power play goals on the year. And Reed has to steer away one quickly. Thomas indeed. Nolan Nagget's clear. Dine with some help from Hoffman. Got a whistle for hand pass. Here from Sam Schwartz, public address announcer. 2 minutes for interference. The New Trier penalty kill was the best in the SHL last year. They were 93.8%, one of the most insane numbers of the last few years. But this year, a slight decline. They're still great, 84.4% tied for 3rd. Here comes Connor McCauley with a chance, and that one slightly tipped away by what appeared to be the blocker of Reed. Dine now cycles it down the wall. Here's McCauley from the high slot. Save made by Reed as it's forced out to the right side. Watch this hit. It was a good attempt by Donato, but he could not knock Knight over. Henry Hoffman weaving back and forth, kicks it to his stick now, trying to pull off a nice sequence, but nothing in the end as it trickles towards Reed. Got the save there from Reed. Ramblers have now tacked on 4 shots. for Loyola and draw it back. Daverman goes to the left side for Tingle. Jobert, just a sophomore. Over for Daverman. Good cutoff there by Lohmeyer. Jobert works it ahead. His father, Jacques Jobert, coming in as the assistant coach this season for Loyola. And Scott Sorello said this power play structure has been bettered and developed by him. They weren't kidding. Third right now in the SHL. They were 7th last year. I think Jobert's kid, Luke, has made a great impact on that as well. He was crucial in Game 3. 2 goals in that 3-2 victory against the Titans. Tingle from the point goes just wide. Now Jack Blazejowski. Blazejowski holding below the goal line. Feeds it up to the center blue line. Can't be held by Tingle. 10 seconds left on the first power play chance of this game for either side in a classic rivalry, and it's going to go to waste. Marino heads up. Had a puck that wasn't far from us up here last game between St. Viator and York, but in the end, just about a good 5-10 feet right of us. As we're back to even strength as New Trier kills off the first one. Nagitz is sliced at the blue line, and we have a penalty coming. Well, it's safe to say I don't think the officials are going to be having any bit of what's going on here. A look at the ref mic. And here's how it happened. One of the captains, Nolan Nagitz, just cut off there by Jobert. Usually see that type of hit and slide in a playoff game, but not here. Nagitz lets it sweep by him at the blue line. The ball with some good pressure, short-handed. He's got a man charging ahead, but he'll just sweep back. And his pocket's picked by Jack Woolabin. Woolabin curling around, puts it to the left side for Solomon at the hash mark. Isaac Solomon, coming from New Trier Blue last year. Nagitz now to the far side. Fed in front, they score! Finds the icebreaker here in Game 1. It's going to be most interesting to see that net cam. Who got a piece of it last? Slow it down right here. And New Trier. Such a great team when scoring first. Loyola even better. That might have been own goal. Can run that back for you folks. We'll see how they score this one. We'll hear it from Sam Schwartz in a moment. Here's Nagitz looking to double the lead, and he misses the target. Here it is. Who just had a stick break, by the way. It broke right at the top. Really odd break. Erstrom gets an assist. That's now a team-leading third in the playoffs in 4 games. The SHL scoring champion, 13 in black. Not out there at the moment, but he is a force. Here comes Peter Lochnicki down the right side. Let that pass well behind Daverman. Rare mistake from the returner Lochnicki. The other way now, George Knight with a lengthy shot, steered aside by Trepp. Andrus now from the point, saved by Trepp. The rebound popped loose, it's up for grabs and finds its way into the corner. McCauley just gets it ahead. Sent ahead by Cox down the length. No icing. Had a very back-and-forth game in the most recent meeting between these two. It was 4-3 New Trier at the end of the second before Loyola exploded for a 4-goal third period. So let me tell you, anything can happen here in this series. But Loyola, they could have really used that first goal. This team, when leading after the first period this season, unbeatable. 10-0. That, of course, an SHL best. Nice feed ahead for McCauley. Pauly swung around. Now Layden the other way. Tanner Layden trying to get out to the forehand. Down the left side, bodies off of Cox, and he is rocked into the corner, stays on his feet, centers it out in front. And that funnels through every Trevian in black as they'll have to track back to their own end. Soren Selleck from the Windy City Storm. Close to too many. Loyola wanted one. I don't think that was close enough. Play was off the ice. Looked ahead now by Luke Gordon. Not to be confused with me up here. Plays Jowski, makes a nice move to the inside, feeds it aside for Kading. Fans on the shot. Kading trying to recuperate, puts it through both defensemen. And Trapp will play it with the goalie stick. Risky pass for Gordon, and he will shovel it ahead for Hoffman. Henry Hoffman, the junior. Over the blue line, Hoffman with a couple of numbers, just sends one towards, and that is worked to the corner by Reed on the save. Donato looking down low for Kading. Libiditis turns and gets it out. And now Luke Berghoff telling Gordon to take over, and Berghoff saying, never mind, I'll take it. How about Luke Berghoff? 2 goals in the playoffs so far. He had just 3 in the entire regular season. Donato brushes off a check down low. There's a specific New Trier fan that loves that call. Cannon across ice, and here comes Dominic Fontana to the net. He scores! That one get by. Dominic Fontana shovels it past the best goalie in the state to double the New Trier lead. What a beauty. And Dominic Fontana. His first goal of the playoffs right there. Him and Woolabin. With both their first on the playoff stage. New Trier carries it on their own end, and they've got the spark they need. Cannon gets an assist as well. That's his first assist in the playoffs. That one curled in front by that man exactly. And now Nagget's unable to hold his own. Nolan Nagget's had a big game 3. He scored 2 goals in that blank-out victory of the Ignatius Wolfpack. Prior to then, he did not record a point since November 12th. It's been 13 games of a point drought for one of the captains on this New Trier team. But his impact is especially made defensively. But he's got the puck in his hands right now. Working it down the wall. They'll get the feedback from Woolabin. Naggets, drags, fires. It's up for grabs inside the circle. Woolabin looking for his second, not there, and now Dwyer will tap it out. New Trier desperately changing Fontana, who is out after a long shift. Good stretch pass. Now for Herstrick, fresh off the bench. Cannot make a move though on Cox. Left side of the ice, Nick Thomas. Thomas drags, fires, and that one's stopped by Reed. Ends up in the netting and out of play. Real good look from Nick Thomas. You can see the offensive experience on the resume showing. He's playing at defense this season for a majority of time, but they've actually moved him back to wing as of recent. That was something Scott Sorello mentioned. They said, hey, we're going to move Thomas to D. He played wing last year. We'll see how he adjusts. And since then, Thomas has been making moves at that right wing position. Back where he is probably most familiar. And he just showed it off there, almost rifling one into the back of the net, if not for Max Reed. With his 5th save of the game. 5 shots to each side so far. Has not been an uneven game, really. Just a couple of nice bounces for a New Trier. And a backhander that Charlie Trapp would want back. Woolabin feeds it to the back door. Herstrick was cutting. Woolabin now. Seeing some hits, but not as many as you'd expect. I honestly thought we were going to have a full-out brawl at this point when Charlie Cannon just skated through the Loyola side of the warm-up. That was one of the more bizarre things I've seen in a long time. That was as we were doing the Open, too. Talking about how there's no love here. And we got a prime example. Well, I think discipline is a key. Get a look at the goalies here. From the Bracci Plumbing goalie cams between the pipes since 1937. That's catchy. Speaking of being around a long time, these two, of course, New Trier established in 1973, Loyola 1965. State champions in 1995, 1996, and 2018 most recently. Marino holds the zone. Fades off of one Rambler. And works it down below the goal line for late. And in front could be trouble, except pulled out by Donato. Donato just sends it to length. This is going to be waved off. Reed with the goalie stick. Oh, he gave it away. Here comes Kading, dragging and shooting. That one blocked by Selleck. Kading, other point now. It's Donato. Takes a redirection wide. Hoffman funnels it on through. It's kept in at the point by Gordon. Another point shot from the Ramblers, bouncing towards the net and snatched down by Reed. Unusual situation for him, having to get out of that butterfly and just lunge up and glove it down when it's above his head. It's a nice snap. .555 to go in the first period. Don't forget, folks, you can leave a comment and we can show it. We had a lot of you asking this as it started. This game started very late. Just about 40 minutes later than expected. That was close to a knee-on-knee collision there from Loyola. In on trap, Hill steered aside. Around the wall, Berghoff. Intercepted. Solomon now feeds it across, nearly bounces its way in. And Trepp now has to unexpectedly catch it for another stop. Don't forget, game twos are tomorrow. St. Viator and York at 5:30. And then these two once again 7:20, no matter the outcome of today. But the team that wins today, a chance to close out tomorrow and end the series in 2 days. Fed out in front, backhander goes right through the slot, and Lochnicki now leads it ahead for Daverman. Taken away at the blue line, it is technically kept in, but all the Trevians started out of the zone anyway. Cox from his own end. Held in by Janetsko. Now Lochnicki. Cannon. Taken back in by Tingle and the Ramblers. Nice regular season for Loyola. They ended up 18-6-3. Finished 2 points ahead of York, who played one less game because that third game would not have mattered. Saved by Trepp yet again. York, even if they won, did not have the tiebreaker, so Loyola locked down that third spot. We just got the word. And New Trier fans will start to applaud. New Trier Blue has just beaten Carmel. Part of the reason why the attendance here, you might ask, a little lackluster. I know New Trier White, New Trier Blue playing right now. And New Trier Blue, a varsity 2 team, the 14 seed. And they just beat number 19 Carmel. Now, interestingly enough, Loyola, that is their next matchup in state. As they awaited the winner of that game, Loyola themselves just absolutely slaughtered St. Ignatius Maroon. 12-0. That was Ignatius' varsity 2 team. Some Beastie Boys for the headphones here. loudspeakers. Fed in deep, and this one not enough for icing. Waved off in the end. Here's Willoughby with a chance. Curling, waiting, and that one blocked by Donato. Nick Thomas now. Cross ice for Luc Jobert. Jobert hesitating, tries to feed it to the back door, but too hot to handle. And out of reach as is for Donato. Trevians work the other way, and how about Chase Marino in these playoffs? 5 points in the first 3 games. Tried to drop it back to Willoughby. Loyola soaks up the dump and attempt. It hits off of the Trevian Neo zone, Dane Lohmeyer. So we'll go back to the neutral zone. Gerard points out there's tree left in the first period. Of course, if you are a loyal Chicago Blackhawks fan, you recall those days very well. Always hits better when it's in the third. Dine for Gall. Forked in deep by Kading. Forecheck ensues for the Ramblers. They lay the body in deep on Andrus from Hoffman. Kading now trying to connect with the point, but it's intercepted and Layden marching the other direction. Jenner Layden. In deep, bodied off the puck by Gall. Now Layden turning around with a chance, and Trapp makes a huge save, but it's still up for grabs. At the blue line now, Trapp has to save another, and sprawl on top of it, laying on his stomach with 3 minutes to go. Really good look on that first shot. Watch Layden gets all this space on the far side, and Trapp is just able to be in the right spot. Layden's gonna want that one back. Had a whole lot of net open. Fed out in front now, it's Knight. Swung down the boards, Alex Roween. Takeaway by Luke Radel. For this Ramblers team, it's really been players that didn't contribute as much as you'd imagine in the regular season that are stepping it up in the playoffs. I talked about Berghoff with 2 goals in the playoffs after 3 all of the regular season. Loyola wanted a penalty, and they had a right to ask for one right there. Andrus up the boards. Also want to talk about Luke Radel. He's already got a handful of assists, just 5 in the regular season, with 3 so far in 1 series. Tingle as well in that same boat, and he wears a check, and he's going to draw a penalty. Or will he be the one that has the penalty? Absolute chaos here. And is Nutrier going to the power play? Or sorry, the penalty kill. Complete goop on my part. And with some fans kind of in the way, this might be the best look we have at it on the right side of your screen. Right here. Yeah, that's head contact. Good catch by the officials in Loyola. No success on their first power play chance, but how about a second here in the first period with 2:12 to go? They've pestered Reed with 7 shots, but none of them finding the back of the net yet. And from the looks of this exit by Nutrier, Loyola will have to start from their own end. McCauley quickly turns out of there. They'll pump the brakes. McCauley, just a sophomore, wearing the A for this team. Older brother Marty played for Glenbrook South. A couple of Glenbrook South connections in today's series. Of course, Tim Benz, head coach of the St. Cloud Lions and SHL Coach of the Year, played for Glenbrook South in his past. Actually played under Jim Philbin. Hoffman takes it off the draw. Here's Donato. Lofted in. Now the Ramblers strike in below the goal line. Donato will try to backhand it up the half wall, but it's taken away. Heads up! Oh my goodness! Is everybody okay? I think it's Nolan Nagitz looking up, making sure he didn't hurt anybody, and nobody seems to be hurt. Oh goodness. I would have thought otherwise. That was a scorching puck. Even if you're paying attention to the game, the odds of you ducking that aren't exactly favorable. A lot of these fans probably have never played hockey before. And some of the dads who maybe have not played in a long time. You kind of put in that position and try to react fast. That is, I don't think I would have ducked that in time. But everybody's okay, we carry on. Blazejowski goes to the point for Daverman. Still over half the time on this man advantage. As Daverman once again takes another feed. Turns away on the right side. The second-year varsity player. At the goal line, Joe Bear. He's bodied against the boards. Joe Bear just flips it off for Tingle. Now to the side, Daverman. Daverman feeds it through, they score! Max Kading has cut the Loyola deficit in half. A power play goal, and their 19th of the season for Loyola Academy. Fans just threw on the initial puck that came from the crowd here, back onto the ice. Maybe in disgust from the New Trier side. Nice cut to the back door by Kading, and he just beats Knight to that puck. Gonna get a beautiful look at it here. As Max Kading, his second goal of the playoffs. And that was a 2-10 as well. Now leads it ahead for Williman. Bumps the brakes at the top of the circle, looking for a rebuttal, but Charlie Trapp will shut the trap there. Trapp has started every game against New Trier this season. He's played a good 2/3 of the regular season. Charlie Niego getting some good looks as well. But when it comes to this point in the season, you usually go with your ace as much as you can. That's what we've seen from all four of these teams in the semifinals until today. If you're just joining us, St. Viator 4-0 win at York. They scored 2 goals in about the first 2.5 minutes on 2 shots. Levi Brown got pulled out of the game. Peter Kalianis played the rest. Brown will likely be the starter tomorrow. Water bottle on the ice from the Loyola bench. Here's Herstrick, weaving his way through traffic. Linesman had to pick up that water bottle, otherwise that dumping might have hit it. Now Lohmeyer. Taking some hacks from Dine. He looks to play it for Williman, instead push the other way. And here comes Kading on the end of a long shift, but it doesn't matter. It'll play shove at Herstrick. And there is the good old-fashioned, I don't like you. Max Kading going at it with the New Trier captain, Jack Herstrick. Kading able to cut the New Trier lead in half at the end of 1 period. Sam Schwartz just sent in aliens, it sounded like. One last look at that physicality at the end. Really the most we've seen in this period. I think it's both head coaches, of course, with their veteran experience, saying, just don't do anything stupid. Both teams have shied away from that for the most part. Loyola getting over the hump this year. They were upset in the SHL last year by GBS. There's that 3-6 matchup in Glenbrook South. They just managed to find a way. The 6 seed has beaten the 3 seed every single time in the SHL playoffs since the COVID era until this year. And it seemed like we were going to get another 6-3 upset. Loyola lost that game 1. .10 seconds left on the break here. Once again, Luke Jordan, a pleasure to be with you. Second of 2 game ones in round 2. If you want to catch the original opener between Viator and York, game 1, you can go to the Viator Hockey Network. Yes, you heard that correctly. A brand new channel. And what, how many viewers we have? We had a lot of people tuning in for that one. And a lot of people Loyola faithful showed up. There's some decent numbers here. New Trier on the other side, a decent turnout, but boy, it's nothing like that York St. Viator game. Likely will be nothing like tomorrow. Of course, you got a late one here. I think, 7:20 on a Sunday, you might have a better turnout. President's Day weekend. But here we go. That 2 and 10 still implies on Hank Tucker. So he will still have to sit in the box for a good handful of minutes before he can get back into the action for New Trier. Otherwise, everybody out of the box for now. Knight. Now for Alex Rowan, looking to connect back with Knight, can't do so. Jack Blazejowski. Scott Sorrello gave us one of the better quotes of the year when he told us preseason that Jack Blazejowski looks like a man playing with boys out there at times. You see him kind of playing that bully tactic on the hash mark. One of the leading prolific goal scorers in Loyola this season. Icing call, generated in Luke Gordon exchanging some words. Back into the New Trier zone we go. 2-1, 16:07 left here in the second. We've got a late one on tap. It's 9:36 as we speak. Big thanks to Gerard Boris for making this happen. Giving you folks the opportunity to catch both game 1s and, of course, game 2s on SHL Network tomorrow. I'll be with you folks on the color mic for the first game between St. Viator and York. Unfortunately, cannot stick around for this one in game 2, but I will be watching from home. Got to stay with my dog and watch him. Here's Marino. Tries to curl it in front, and he could not find a non-alert Jack Herschel. Here is McCauley. Boy, can he wheel. Connor McCauley. He looked high slot. That's intercepted in stride by Jack Woolman. Coming in 2-on-2. Lohmeyer has to wait to be on sides. Woolman swings it around the boards. Now Selleck. Dahl. Can exit for Loyola, and Woolabin retrieves it in deep, centering feed, rolls its way onto the near blue line. Selleck back down to the corner. Now Woolabin feeds it right through. That could have been trouble. Ends up right in the breadbasket of Luke Jobert. Jobert just sends it towards. That will bank its way around. Now Dine from a sharp angle goes well wide. Fresh off the bench, Lochnicki. Lochnicki holds the zone. They'll flip it in, and that's kicked right back out. Peter Lochnicki blasts it towards, picked up by Daverman in the slot. Backhander steered aside by Reed. Tingle, that's a bad giveaway, and a 3-on-1 for the Trevians. Good back check by Daverman, a 3-on-2, and Sullivan's shot is blocked by Pearson Daverman. Sullivan now settles in the slot, that's off the crossbar. Oh boy. Let's get another look at this replay. Yep, crossbar and out. He beat Charlie Trepp, missed it with the glove. Or should head off the faceoff by Keegan Roween. Got one heck of a semifinal game so far. It only gets better. Andrus, he collides with Daverman at the blue line. Now the other way, Lochnicki is blocked by Nolan Naggets. That is a tough hit to take for Peter Lochnicki, and he feels the sting right now on the Ramblers bench. Tommy Lividitis punched away by Trapp. Good check by Radel. The door pops wide open. Now Berghoff with a hit for Loyola in deep. Full pedal to the metal when it comes to physicality as of the last couple minutes. As another Trevian falls to the ice. Berghoff, he's pulled down. That's a penalty there on Roheen. Luke Berghoff draws a power play opportunity for Loyola. Looking for his second power play goal in game 1. Here's the announcement. Oh, couldn't hear that one, but you get the notation. Right here, left side of your screen, watch Roheen, he just brings his stick down, and yeah, that's enough for a penalty. Another fairly easy call for the officials in this one. Here's Joe Bear, that one shelled off in traffic. Loyola, one power play goal away from 20 on the year. Power play has greatly progressed in the late goings of this season. Kading, now for Joe Bear. Luke Joe Bear darting up the right side of the ice. Kading settles it down, taps it into the slot, and then skips over the stick of Blazejowski. Good hit by Tingle, but you could argue that's interference. Got to play the puck, and I don't know if the new Trevian, I couldn't identify him, played it yet, but we'll carry on. It went from really not letting them play too much to letting them play a lot more. Scott Sorello and company calling in the power play line to change. In the meantime, it's swung back for Donato, who starts to trace down the left side of the ice and send it into the opposite side corner. McCauley, intercepted in deep by Marino, and he clears. It's past Dine as well, going the full 200. 40 seconds left on the third power play opportunity for Loyola today. Hoffman, Donato, almost took the head off there, and Nagats shot it right at him. Thomas, the shallow pass taken away. Now Knight, now for Lohmeyer. 18 seconds left to kill for New Trier. Looking front, but no connection. It's a 3-on-2 the other way. Henry Hoffman. Now you've got the back check from Herford as well. Hoffman fans on the shot. Nagats gave it away, and Max Reed steps out to make the stop. That is an uncharacteristic mistake. He's down the corner, just swatted down. That is great stick work as well by Nick Thomas. And reaction here from the Trevians. They're ready to release Roheen, and now 4 seconds and counting. There he goes. Loyola 1 for 3 so far in the power play in this game. Lochnicki. Now Cox. Taken away at center by Lohmeyer. Leading it ahead from Willeben, going horizontal at the blue line. He gets it in deep. Willeben on the backhand. Curls with the forehand, finds a man in front, but Lohmeyer couldn't get good one on it. The pass might have been tipped in the late goings. And a hit from Herstrom. Selleck. Up the wall for Lohmeyer. In the slot. Easy save for Trapp. Trapp now up to 10 saves in this game. Here comes Radel. He is absolutely earth-shaken by Nolan Nagats. That is the second ginormous hit by Nagats today. And here's Cannon the other way in a 2-on-1. Side tries to slide it in front. Good defending in deep by Cox. And now here comes Loyola, a 3-on-2 yet again. Julian Cabal out to the right side. The Loyola captain misfires. Dime. Now into the slot, Berghoff feeds it across for Kading. It's all over the place in front, and nobody there to tap it home. New Trier potential numbers the other way. Good back check, though, by the Ramblers. Another sharp angle backhand shot from Fontana in this one, but this time it doesn't go. Fontana and Woolabin, both their first goals of these SHL playoffs. They've definitely spread the love. Only one Trevian with 3 goals in that opening series. It was Chase Marino. Nolan Nagats had 2 as well. And they really didn't score much until game 3. Scored just 1 goal in game 1, 2 in game 2. Actually, 1 in game 2. If I'm not so mistaken. But then piled on a 5-0 win for a shutout for Max Reed. I guess the best way to put it, 5-on-5 even strength goal. Saved there by Reed. A couple of empty netters in game 2 for New Trier, as they won that one 4-0. Thomas tried to feed it in front. That's cut off by Marino. Dine holds. Now below the net, Thomas centering in front, nearly trouble. Janetsko looking to loft out of the zone, can't do so. Watch out, Luke Jobert. How'd he stay on his feet there? Then strangled down to the ice. And walk for the physicality after here. Luke Jobert saying, I didn't do nothing. You're the one who tried to hit me. He makes a good point. I mean, he's off one leg too. That is a strong Luke Jobert. I think people forget that Charlie Cannon is a football player. Look at that hit. Take another look at that from a better angle when we get the chance. Daverman. Not taken away. New Trier working the other direction. Roween tracks in deep. And smart play by Trapp to not play it. Adam Terrace saying he was out of his crease anyway. One more look at that hit. That is one of the hardest hits of the entire SHL season. Daverman off the draw, flicks it out in front. And no backhander could be put home there by Lochnicki. Daverman, smooth move below the net. It falls through the high slot, Donato. Now Dwyer. Jack Dwyer, football player for the very prestigious Loyola Academy football team. Now Daverman, out in front, intercepted and worked ahead for Alex Roween, caught off at the blue line by Gordon. Now Layden nearly knocked over the New Trier bench. Adam Cheris wanted to call. And now Dwyer, he freight trains right over Layden. But New Trier has the puck as they look towards the high slot. Now settled down, Yang towards the net, kicked away, rebound Layden, he scores! This rivalry after the whistle, usually not after a goal, as New Trier extends the lead to 3-1. Benner Layden is a big-time player. Reminds me a lot of Hans Huber last year for the Trevians. He's always there, knows where to be, kicks it to his stick. That was smooth. And the officials are discussing whether they're going to call a penalty, or they will. Alex Roween, to the box, Pearson Daverman for Loyola. Oh, here. What happened to the ref mics? I can tell you we're still 5-on-5, offsetting calls. Once they put them into the score sheet, we'll break them down. Center Layden, his first goal of the playoffs. And first one since returning from illness in mid-January. Jowski tries to throw up ice off the throw. Now it's Lividitis chopping it ahead. Here comes Solomon. Isaac Solomon looking to extend the lead to 4-1, but not there. Plays Jowski. Cross ice for Hoffman. Slings in deep on Reed. He coughs up a costly rebound, but just teased it. So unsportsmanlike conduct call on New Trier's end. I did not hear the one for Dagerman. It's likely of the same. If not that, maybe a rough. One way or another, 2 minutes each side. No 2 and 10, so they will both come back after 2 minutes and a whistle. Curled towards the front of the night by Lividitis, and Solomon put it wide. Pressure in deep by Tingle. Plays Jowski. Plays it back down for Kading. That's costly. Roween puts it out in front, but it's retrieved by Loyola. Good stick lifts by Solomon. Hoffman fires in deep. Will change. Plays Jowski in a forecheck. He rocks off body contact from Nolan Nagats. Plays Jowski now. We have a whistle. 6 on the ice. And it was obvious. The near linesman was able to point them all out while they were standing on the ice. So New Trier will get a power play, already up 2. Here in round 2, game 1. New Trier's power play was first last year. They're now 9th out of 10. 18.1%. But special teams can get hot at any moment, and they would really appreciate it happening during the playoff stretch. Just has not been awarded to them yet. Selleck over for Marino. Inside the circle is Knight. Had a risky feed, and oh boy, that was close to another penalty on Loyola. Marino. Off the sideboards, looking for late. And by the way, another first in the playoffs, as we mentioned, generally. All 3 New Trier goals from people who have not had that opportunity yet. Another snatch by the New Trier audience. Oh my gosh, I didn't see that part. And you just saw that referee give some words to Thomas. I don't know if they were friendly or not. That's actually Donato that did it. Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Nagats into the slot. Here's Woolabin in front, backhander shoveled on but saved. And a poke check from McCauley forces it out of the zone. Oh, that's one of the best clips this season. I mean, I know Jimmy the Wiz for SHL puts up SHL bloopers. I know this isn't an SHL Network game, but you should put that on there. Solomon, center blue line for Nagats. Good poke. Once again, McCauley all over the case. Again. There's a New Trier glove off of a stick. Keegan Roween is fighting without a right-hand glove. It lays dead in the near side circle. Nice move at the point, Nagats. The backside, Solomon. And up the wall for Woolabin. Shake and bake move away from Dime. 24 and counting left on the New Trier power play, their first of the game. And Donato tried to trap it down with his hand, but realized he couldn't. Now Woolabin shaking to the net. Nothing going there. Nick Thomas clears. 10 seconds until Cox is out of the box. Unintentionally rhymed. Here comes Herstrom. The far side, Lohmeyer. Sweeps it across ice for Solomon. There's a man calling for it in front. It's Hurstrit as he redirects it just wide and out of play. Something Hurstrit can do especially well is get to the spot and quickly put on a shot. Just couldn't angle it on. Would have been over the crossbar even if it was on the net, but not a bad idea from the new Trier captain, the SHL scoring champion. 35 points in the regular season for him. Janetsko works it aside, and a far side shot won't go. This could be trouble as it swings around. Julian Gabal couldn't catch up to it, though, and he goes crashing into the glass. And deep, it's Marino. Under 4 minutes to play before an ice make here in Rosemont. Rosemont Ice Arena, practice facility of the Chicago Wolves of the AHL. Actually, we'll be willing to check if they just beat the Colorado Eagles or not at Allstate Arena. That game is going on during these two. The ball towards the net, deflected on by Berghoff, and what appeared to be stopped by Reed. Oh my! Julian Gabal lays the hammer. Icing just barely waved off, and Charlie Cannon trying to wrap his arms around Cox. Now Radel goes crashing into the boards. Plays Jafke left side of the ice. Nifty move, gets to the backhand, feeds it in front, it's right there for Hoffman, and he can't score! Oh boy! Chase Marino now up ahead for Cannon. Jenner Layden, he's got potential numbers, slides it across out of reach for George Knight. You know, it's pretty funny. Henry Hoffman, he asked me, he's like, you guys got to do Game 3, Loyola GBS. I said, I won't be doing it. South Hockey Network will be doing it. He goes, you always score, or I always score when you do my games. Well, where is it right there? He'll still get plenty more chances, the speedy junior. Just found that a funny story because that is a moment you can't miss. Roween out in front for Knight, and he sweeps it wide. Got to give credit, though, to the new Trier defending in front of the crease. Dime. It's always nice to have some interactions with the players. Actually ran into new Trier White's Jay Cohn at the Chicago Crush game I was calling yesterday. Says he's been interning with the Crush doing some GM-related stuff, which is awesome. Always cool to get a jump on it in high school. Thomas on the far side. Sweeping inside. Cut off by Dwyer. Looking for Joe Bear. Chopped up in front of some Loyola students. And now carried the other way, Roween. Advances it for Jenner Layden. Layden lofts in front, and it skips by Roween. We're under 100 seconds left in the middle frame. Joe Bear now will skate up ice. He's tough to catch in a straight line, but Nolan Naggett stands him up right there. In deep a race for this puck, Joe Bear lays the body on Oyang, strangling him down to the ice. And now the other way, Hurstrit. Got a play behind the net that we'll talk about in a moment. Here's Roween with a shot blocked, and now they are still going. And they're going to send both of them in the box. All right, we got some replays to look at here. Here's how it started. That's the hit. Then he strangled down. Oyang. Oh, gosh, that is not smart. But then it ended up a new Trier power play. What do you do? Wow, that's a bad miss. That's a really bad miss. Terrible miss. That just sounded really hypocritical, but you all saw it. I mean, Kyrie, you can't cross-check somebody in the back of the head. And then Joe Bear is the one assessed the penalty for talking. Because the ref's feelings were hurt. I don't know about that one. and they're going to give him a 10. That is a ridiculous call. And look, I'm completely neutral here. If anything, this is Trevian Hockey Network. But that is an awful call. Probably the worst one I've seen this season. I don't mean to, you know, drag it out and make it all dramatic, but I mean, there's no lie in that. Here comes Woolman towards the net, towards the backhand, tries the wraparound. What a save by Trapp. And the rebound stopped as well. So Luke Jobert will not come back until there's about 8 minutes left in the third period. That is a rough blow for Loyola. Not only missing one of their top scorers for that amount of time, but then Scott Sorrello having to juggle the lines. It'll be a lot of adjusting for Loyola as they'll head into the locker room in 51 seconds. For now, all they're worried about is killing off the 137 on the Jobert penalty. I mean, if you guys are Loyola fans, I feel for you. That is... Ooh. If that happened to my team, you wouldn't hear the end of it for probably a whole 24 hours. Donato just fires it back towards Reed. One last rush here for North Trier. It looks like Nuggets, who had 2 goals in Game 3 of Round 1. Trying to find one here. Nuggets into the slot. What a save by Trapp. And that's how a climactic second period comes to an end. Well, not yet. Even Charlie Trapp coming out into the action will bark some words, and he is frustrated with the official. I get it, how to keep your temper. And then here's that. I won't comment too much on it. Unnecessary from Woolabin and Kading. We'll see if they assess penalties out of the gate for the third period. But for now, we can take a break and the teams can cool off some steam, floating off the top of their heads. Scott Sorrello is still talking to the officials right now. Get a look at him here. Look, you got a right to be mad. You have a complete right to be mad. They can go to the locker room, look at this video evidence. Scott Sorrello, and he just got teed up. I mean, straight basketball style. The officials have their feelings hurt yet again. So, it'll be a 5-on-3 to open up the third period. Boy, oh boy. We'll get that all when we come back on the Trevian Hockey Network. New Trier leads 3-1 in Game 1 of round number 2. And maybe we don't go to break yet. Seems a lot more calm from Sorrello. I mean, he's got a reason to stand up for Jobert. There's not a doubt about it if you guys want to watch that back. All right. We'll take a break here on the Trevian Hockey Network. For real this time. It is a 5-on-3 when we return for the Trevians, trying to hang on to a 3-1 lead in Game 1. Welcome back to Rosemont Ice Arena. We have seen 34 minutes of hatred here in a heated rivalry. Loyola Gold and New Trier faring off for one last period here in game number 1. We can see a lot of periods in this series, but the first two were Trevian dominated. They outshot the Ramblers 20-14. 3 goals from all players with their first, respectively, of the playoffs. Jack Ruhleben, Dominic Fontana, and generally and most recently. On the Loyola end, that's who can answer, because Charlie Trapp cannot be relied on. An offense that is spread out. There's really nobody on this Loyola team that can truly be considered the star. They can make a name for themselves right now. A very spread out attack, and has only scored 1 goal. It's a 5-on-3 to get things started here in Rosemont. A unsportsmanlike was assessed to Scott Serralo talking to the officials, as we saw. Whatever he said, I really don't think it was worth another penalty. They shouldn't have a penalty to begin with. I think the officials should be more focused on the physicality and not the talking. Trevians ready to go at center. 50 seconds of a 5-on-3. And there's a fresh penalty on the board as well, so they'll have a 1:10 of a 5-on-4 after, as long as no other penalties ensue. Last communications, Hoffman is the one serving the 2 minutes of Jobert. They had to send 1 more in the box as well. Berghoff is the one serving the misconduct by Scott Serralo. Three's a party, as you saw there on the penalty box cam. Let's go at centers. New Trier wins back the 3rd period opening faceoff. And a 5-on-3 out of the gate. Try to run away with game 1. Gerard Morris, our producer, Luke Jordan up here with you. Pleasure as always. Here's Marino, back to Selleck. They work it down to the goal line, slid across and gloved down by Trapp on a deflection. They're really stretching out this Loyola PK. They got 2 up top. That is a risky play, forcing Donato down low, but he's able to get a stick on it. And to his fortune, Charlie Trapp, always the quick reaction time to block that one off. Selleck. Now Marino. Backdoor chance for Knight, and he couldn't get it to go. Urshred does hold. Numbers in front now, 4-on-2. Marino hesitating, waiting. Feeds far side. 2 seconds left on the 5-on-3. Hoffman to the bench. Dwyer into the game. 1-timer saved by Trapp. 5-on-4 for the next 105 and counting. Selleck, that did not come off his stick the way he intended. Adam Church is saying, what are we doing? Marino is blocked off at the blue line. And deep it goes. Dine will clear. And heck, Donato might win the race for this puck, as Max Reed has to come out and play it up the wall intelligently as Marino slides it ahead. Chase Marino over the line. He's got Layden to his left. And nothing going there. Dine all over his case. Same situation. Reed will have to hang on here. Or no, he's just going to aggressively play it. Out towards the near side glass at center ice. Jack Ruhleben. Now Herstritt. Herstritt down the side. You know, Jack Ruhleben, actually a senior. I've been calling him a junior all season. I either misread or in the opening sheet it said that he was a junior, so I wrote that down. But no, he is a senior. Last year with New Trier, heavy hit there in front of the blue line. So I apologize about that. I don't know if that was a me mistake. I'm just going to take it as a me mistake. End all be all. I'm the voice you're hearing, so it only makes sense. Blankowski couldn't make a move inside. Short pass out of the zone. Headed down by Herstrip once again. Some trouble with the puck for Nagitz. Flipped in front. They were looking for Hoffman. Kading nearly took it right back as well. Blazejowski a takeaway. Hoffman. Glove down by Max Reed. 14-12 to go. We'll line up to the left of Reed. Chucked wide off the draw by Daverman. Sent towards the net wide. Daverman tries to center once again. That's forked off by Andrus. Jack Andrus, the senior, tries to stretch it out of the zone. Good hold. It's batted back in by the right hand, but that's a hand pass if we've ever seen one. Doesn't get much easier in this game for the officials in that one. Face off in front of the Trevian bench. New Trier trying 4 of 5 meetings this season against Loyola to bring a clinching game 2 into the scenario tomorrow. That would be an SHL final clinching scenario. That's an interference. They call it. Max Reed going to the bench, and folks are just more worried about the well-being of Libiditis, who just got absolutely clipped. Hockey plays and there's non-hockey plays. Ref mics are back. You saw, even before Donato made the contact, Adam Jarris' hands outstretched on the New Trier bench. New Trier to the power play once again. Loyola, the only team that has cashed from such special teams, and that remains their only goal. Nagitz center blue line. Dances away from Thomas. Now Solomon. Right across Herstrip now cycles down the boards. Roween with hounding pressure from Gordon, who backs off. Up for Herstrip now. And intercepted clear. Got a Rambler checking in with the training staff as well to the left of the Loyola bench. We'll keep an eye on that one. I cannot identify the number yet. I see an 8, 86. That's Tommy Tingle. Cleared by Gordon. Talking about how dominant Loyola's penalty kill has been. Going from the 5th best last year to the league's best this year. 88.5% coming into this game. But watch out, here's Jack Herstrip. He scores! The captain delivers and extends the Trevian lead to 3. Just a sweet move from the SHL scoring champion. Came into these playoffs red hot on an 8-game point streak. He remains red hot. Points in nearly every game. For Herstrip, it's his first goal of the SHL playoffs, 3rd point. The Trevians feel good right now. But we've seen some solid get-backs from Loyola in the past. How about this season? I think a lot of people forget New Trier went into the break on the road at American Heartland, up 4-3. Loyola outbursted with 4 unanswered, including an empty netter, as this one punched out a play by Reed. Loyola would go on to win that one 7-4. So this game is not over, and at that, this series is far from it. Very interesting to see how these two teams turn around on less than a 24-hour window. 7:20 puck drop tomorrow. On a Sunday night. If you're watching right now, which we know there are a lot of you tuning in, get here. Bring the atmosphere. Or watch on SHL Network. I mean, it's a win-win either way. But here's a chance for Knight now trying to make a move. I think the attendance is fairly lackluster today, but I think a lot of people also forget it's Valentine's Day. People have spouses, girlfriends, plans. So I think tomorrow will be a lot different. As Donato flips in. St. Viator York game had very solid game 1 attendance, but they're also 2 very close schools to here. Here's a 3-on-1 the other way. Late looking for a second, but they're offsides at the line. Here over the PA, Sam Schwartz delivering Jack Hurstrid's first goal. Max Reed just got an assist. He taps his post in celebration. There was no louder cheer than for Max Reed. How about Sam Schwartz making sure he said the goaltender, Max Reed. That definitely got people going. Here comes Dwyer into the offensive zone. Shot out of a cannon, but can't get a shot on net. Loyola just 1 goal on 17 shots. Max Reed has done a sensational job as he has done all playoffs. Came into this one, .68 goals allowed average, .969 save percentage, and 2 shutouts in 3 games. Including an 11 save shutout to clinch game 3. New Church simply outplayed St. Ignatius. Put on 5 goals and only allowed 11 shots. And they carry that tempo into their rival Loyola, in which they're looking closer and closer as the time ticks down to claiming game 1. But still, don't go anywhere. We're not done. Off the skate of Cox, that looked offsides, and it is. Loyola still seeking that first win away from home against New Trier since January 2025. That's now over a year ago. They got the 1 win they needed just a couple of weeks ago, but haven't been able to domino off of it so far. A rivalry that almost got even better last year. We were quite literally 1 game away from the Loyola New Trier State Championship, but the Ramblers fell in the semifinal to a solid Bennett team out of the CCHL. All top 8 seeds this time around in the SHL. And you've got Bennett at 9, Providence Catholic at 10. So still some CCHL foes. Willabin took a hard hit. And to the near side boards there, some white snow on his black jersey. Here's Gordon. Retrieved by the skate of Gabal. And now shinned ahead by Cox. Cox with good pressure. Tucker gets it out to center. Here comes Willabin on his high horse looking for a second goal. Not there. Luke Gordon shadows him well. McCauley. Right side, he's hustled down by Herstrom. Not for enough of a penalty, but now we have one coming. A little bit shoving after as well. Julian Gabal, the Loyola captain, one of them. He's not having it. Was the main captain at the start of the season when Jack Dwyer was returning from football play. And it's Hurstrit that goes. Interference the call. And look at it here. It's down this corner. He's not the one, or he is the one defending down low, and he shoots it right at him after, but they did catch the initial contact. And that's enough for a call. This is a big power play for Loyola. I don't want to call it make or break, but it feels that way. Dine steps in and one glove save by Reed. 18 stops on 19 shots. Looking for his 3rd career SHL playoff win. First year in the realm of high school hockey, and safe to say he feels comfortable. Both these goalies do. Both juniors and all-state selections. As Trapp on the other end gets a stick on it and slows it down. We're a quarter of the way through the power play for the Ramblers. Here's Thomas. Drills it in front for Macaulay. Good stop by Reed, and the rebound tussled loose. Thomas on the near side boards. Funnels it down for Macaulay. Aggressive pressure from Marino on his tail. And with some help, Nutri able to clear it thanks to George Knight. Here's Hoffman. Just feeds it behind for Dine. The agile playmaker Patrick Dine into pressure down deep. Nutria will get that out past the blue line at least. 50 seconds left on the Loyola power play. Scored on the power play in this game. Gotta watch the check there from Gabal. That was a clear interference. They caught it. And Marino's just gonna curl back. They're gonna try to kill as much time in this penalty kill as they can so that they can have more time on the power play. Smart move by Marino. But gotta be careful in your own end. Selleck. We saw St. Viator do a lot of this in the game previous. They would just hold it in their own zone numerous times. Wait for the right moment, but New Trier seemed to have jumped the gun a little bit there. They'll have 20 seconds of 4-on-4 and a minute 40 of power play time unless anything changes. You can hear the frustration from Loyola parents, but that was the right call. Right here. Yeah, you can hear Sam Short saying, hold on. He's actually signaling is that head contact. If so, that's a 2 and 10. And that would do the ball for the game. Joe Bear's already sitting in there. An elite goal scorer for this Loyola team, and it is a 2 and 10. And Loyola's saying, what are you talking about? Okay, one more chance to run it back here. Was it head contact? Right here. Slowing it down for you. Doesn't look like head contact to me. It's a penalty. It is a penalty, but 2 and 10 seems a little egregious. At this point, you need everybody possible to try to come back from the 4-1 deficit with just about 8 minutes to go. But watch out, here comes Pearson Daverman. Nice forecheck there. Nagitz now works it the other way. Gordon for Daverman. Got ahead by Dwyer. Daverman pulls it loose. Taken away by Solomon. Pearson Daverman. Try a sharp angle, but never got a stick on the puck. Here comes Nagitz. Some folks wanting it off. 1:15 left on the power play. Gordon slides in the check, but Roween squeaks loose. Feeds it across now for Herstrip. The net is partially off. Nagitz, center blue line. That one soaked up by Dwyer. Now Gordon trying to clear and gets it by Nagitz, who couldn't stop back on his backhand. Quickly sent right back up the ice as Loyola and a change. Trapp the one to play with his goalie stick on the other end. Curled out to the New Trier blue line. 7 minutes and less now. No matter the outcome of this one, game 2 tomorrow. Marino. Looks up top for Selleck, and that's poked out of the zone by Donato. Chase Marino. He's hit a little bit late there by Donato. Out of his crease. Trapp seemed to have been playing the lines of the trapezoid there. I think he forgets that in high school you can come out. He was really cautious once he got it. Could just be an over-analysis, but nice pad save there by Trapp, and we're back to even strength. Still 2 Ramblers serving penalties in the box. The head contact from Gabal and Joe Bear. serving for mouthing off in the second. Jobert will be out soon. It actually might be the next whistle. In the meantime, here's Lohmeyer in a 2-on-1. Dane Lohmeyer stutters, gives it across, and it's just out of reach. That was a smooth move to get Anthony Donato falling. Dine the other way. He's rocked off the puck. Nolan Nagitz has been a physical presence. Now Janetsko. Blazejowski carries the other way. Oh, that was not how they planned it. It ends up offsides. So Jobert does not leave the box yet. Appreciate all the sponsors coming in to help here for this Nutria broadcast. How about You Dog You, Sandwich Fries Milkshake? I've never been there, and I will be there in the future. I mean, that is everything you want. I am a milkshake fanatic. Best one? I mean, locally, you really can't go wrong with Five Guys. Blazejowski feeds it for Caden. And now here comes Gall right side. Gall pumps the brakes. Gets a man to miss. Now sends it across. Here's Blazejowski dragging inside. Blazejowski looking backdoor. He draws a penalty. And Loyola will get a second chance in this period on the power play. Can't throw it away, though, with an undisciplined penalty this time. Because it gets to that point where now it will kill you. And it will be the death of a 4-1 game with under 5 minutes to go. Right here's the penalty. Just held on him a little bit too much with the stick. Only goal from Loyola today on the power play. They could use another. Hoffman plays back. Donato winds up fake. Goes into the side for Hoffman. They go back to Donato. Swung around the boards for Dine. He can't hang on. Henry Hoffman with the right hand, just motioning everybody back into the neutral zone as they re-enter. Hoffman, a couple of good chances in this game. McCauley, they have to wait. Delayed offsides. Thomas has to track back over. Here comes Dine now. He really starts the process. Dine, no options. We'll get some reinforcement from Thomas indeed. Nick Thomas looking back door, that's deflected wide. George Knight given plenty of real estate to get things out of there. Late in the final touch, and he gets that on net as well. Halfway through yet another Loyola power play. Daverman flips in. Thomas for Daverman. Looking to connect back. Daverman hangs on, curls to the far side circle. He'll switch spots with Patrick Dine. Daverman waiting, shooting, and a redirection, put it wide. Layden now once again shorthanded and threatening. Layden sneaks by, and he could never shovel a shot on. Only one or two more rushes here for Loyola. They gotta get moving. 3-goal game, and oh boy, it might be a 4. Here comes Marino, and what a save by Charlie Trapp. It was just about a save. Talking about if Scott Sorrell looks into even pulling Charlie Trapp, it is a 3-goal game, which is that borderline of usually they don't, but it's the playoffs. You don't care if you lose 5-1 or 2-1. A loss is a loss and a win is a win. So usually get the more aggressive decisions because there are no tiebreakers in the playoffs. Seeding-wise, everything is finalized. Here's Lohmeyer. Left side of the ice. Never a chance. Good swiping check by Cox. Back to even strength. Luke Radel down the right side. Gives it in for Burkhoff. Head back up top. Cox with a shot. Glove down by Reed. He'll back his way out of his own crease. Nowhere present on either of these games. Taking a nice little lap. They weren't sure if Max Reed was even the starter at one point. I mean, played the first couple of games of the season. They saw Max Reed take a devastating loss to Lake Forest to open up. A New Trier team that was 2-2 at one point. They eventually relied on Max Aschione, who is now the backup. Saw time in the state playoff game where New Trier smacked around Mount Carmel. They will play the winner of 15-seeded Deerfield versus 18-seeded Fenwick. And once again, if you're just joining us, New Trier Blue beat Carmel in the state tournament. So therefore, Loyola and their gold team, Varsity 1, will be taking on New Trier's Varsity 2, New Trier Blue, in the next round. Loyola, a 12-0 win over St. Ignatius Maroon. The Varsity 2 of Iggy. That one nearly deflected in by an old Rambler and goal. Now up top, Lividitis breaking free. Lividitis centering feed. It's Solomon, blocked off there by Blaze Jowski. Nonetheless, good time killing here in the offensive zone for New Trier. Fed to the opposite side point. Oyang slicing his way through. Ty Oyang. Two-on-one board battle won by Loyola. If they send Charlie Trapp, it's now. I mean, they really have been unsuccessful at getting over the red line successfully, exampled here. But Blaze Jowski now gets a hold of it. Kading smacks him deep. One last line change potentially for the Ramblers. Cannon just sends it to the far side. Donato back in. Just hoping nothing embers into more here when it comes to the discipline and physicality. Don't need any late penalties on either side, and Anthony Donato was close to creating one there as he knocked over Fontana after the play. I mean, yeah, if you're Scott Sorrell, you got to get Donato off the ice right now. He is making a couple of plays that look a little bit concerning. Loyola wants their get back. They can get it tomorrow. Oh my! Donato, then he goes back at Cannon. I mean, you just pulled off a great reverse hit and then decided to bark at him and cross-check after. I wouldn't consider that the smartest play of his career. We all make mistakes. Sweet hit, just not that part. Hopefully the last penalty of this game with 26.1 to go. New Trier unofficially taking game one here. Now 4-1 against Loyola on the season. They were 3-0 at one point. And after suffering the most recent one in the loss column, looks like they're back to usual. High stick whistle down. Just 10 seconds in between whistles there. We'll go back into the New Trier defensive zone. Very likely we'll get these two goalies yet again. Goaltender cams brought to you by Bracci Plumbing, between the pipes since 1937. Why would they change these goalies? Wouldn't call it exactly a bad game for Trapp. Maybe blame him for one or even maybe two goals, but that's not the difference of this game. 3-goal gap. And New Trier will claim game one here. Almost finding an extra dagger at the end. Max Reed celebrates towards the New Trier bench. The aggressive hogs around the junior netminder, but the job far from finished. Game 2 tomorrow. And game 3 if necessary, if Loyola can even things up in less than 24 hours. touch of the 3 stars of the game here. Jack Woollivan gets the 3rd star. Jack Hurst with the 2nd. Those 2 have been connecting all season. They are in the 3rd and 2nd stars. Do they get Max Reed the 1? There you go. Yep. 20 saves on 21 shots. Max Reed will get the number 1 star of the game. And Adam Jarris' Trevians will try to close out against their rival tomorrow and await the winner of St. Viator and York in the SHL Final. We're 1 step at a time here. For the Trevians here on the Trevian Hockey Network. It's been a pleasure to do this game for you all. This was kind of figured out a couple of days ago, so we're really glad to have brought this broadcast to you. Once again, Gerard Boris, our great producer, he's the one turning around that camera on me right now. Doing the talking myself, Luke Jordan, not to be confused with Luke Gordon, number 85 on the Loyola Ramblers, as the Ramblers will look to even things up. But for now, have a great rest of your Valentine's Day. We will see you tomorrow. Both games, St. Viator York, Loyola New Trier, will be both on the SHL Network. A big duel of broadcasts tomorrow. We will see you then. Thanks so much for tuning in on the Trevian Hockey Network.